Welcome back, Careblazer. I totally had another video scheduled to go out today, but at the very last minute, I decided to pull that video and record this one instead. I wanted to make sure that with everything going on in the world right now with the coronavirus, that the videos that I was posting would be the most helpful to you. So that's why I'm coming at you today with this new video. Yesterday, I posted in my Facebook group and I asked all of you amazing Careblazers, what is the most difficult thing about this whole coronavirus in terms of caregiving? And the most common response that I received had to do with you trying to explain to your loved one why they could not go out of the home, why they couldn't go to the places that they're used to going. Specific comments included things like, my loved one doesn't understand why I can't visit, my loved one not understanding why we can't go out to places, having a hard time keeping my loved one inside the house. My loved one thinks I'm being mean by not taking him out. One person said her father insisted he had a doctor's appointment to try to get out of the house, even though he hates doctor's appointment. So you might find yourself in a position where your loved one wants to leave the house and go somewhere, and you're having to be the person to try to explain to them why that can't happen, that the stores are closed, that places are shut down, or that it's not a safe time to go out of the house. And even though this is really relevant right now with everything going on with the coronavirus, it's actually really relevant for any time in the future. If you find yourself in the position of your loved one wanting to leave the house and go somewhere, and you're in that spot of trying to tell them they can't, whether it's because of the virus or because of the time of day, or because you just simply can't go out of the house or don't want to go out of the house at that moment. So today I want to share specifically an approach that you can take with your loved one if you're in this position, including some specific things you can say to your loved one to try to help them through this time. And for those of you who are interested, at the very end of this video, I'm going to share with you how, for right now, you have 100% free access to my mini course on managing dementia caregiver stress. I want to help as many of you as possible through this difficult time. So at the end of the video, I explain how you can get access to that free course, and there is a link below. I also talk about how, for a limited time, you can order your own Careblazer Strong mug if you would like. And there's a link below that to the video as well. All right, but let's get back to today's topic. There are three main phases in how to approach your loved one when they want to leave the house at a time when they can't really leave the house or go where they want to go. For starters, remember, there is no one right approach. It's so easy in our minds and to also try to pass judgment onto others in terms of what's a right approach to take in this situation and what's a wrong approach to take in this situation, what you should do and what you shouldn't do. This is not a time for that judgment or even that self-criticism. This is just a time to realize what approach works for you and your loved one is okay, even if that approach doesn't work for another Careblazer, okay? So the right approach that you're going to take in this situation is the approach that your loved one responds to the best, right? That's simply it. It's an approach that you can easily do, or you can do without a lot of sacrifice on your end, and it's an approach that your loved one responds to easily. That is how you know you're using the right approach. And you might have to shift your approach, and you might have to try several different approaches to really find which approach is best for you and your loved one. But for starters, the first thing is there is no one right approach, no one right fit, one size fits all for this dementia caregiving journey, and all kinds of things in dementia caregiving, right? But especially in this situation of how are you going to respond to your loved one when they want to leave the house, it might take several different ways, and I'm going to talk about that here coming up. But the most important thing is that the right approach is the approach that you can do and that your loved one responds well to. The second thing to keep in mind is that in your approach, in your attempts to explain to them what's going on or giving them your reason for why they can't go, it's really important that you try to make those responses as simple as possible. Sometimes we want to provide more information or a lot of detail to really try to explain to your loved one why they can't go at this moment. And a lot of times that just becomes really confusing and overwhelming and can lead to more anxiety and agitation in your loved one. So here we want to keep things as short and simple as possible. And then finally, the third thing is you want to redirect them and engage them in something else. So the three things, there is no one right approach except for the approach that works for you and your loved one. That's the right approach. Number two, you want to try to be as short and simple as possible. And number three, you want to redirect and engage. Now let's look at specific ways you can do this with your loved one. If you're trying to explain to your loved one why they can't leave the home, some example sentences that you can use, and again, I want you to really tweak these using your own words and knowing what you know about your loved one, but I hope these are jumping off points and get your creative juices floating. So simple and short ways that you can try to explain to your loved one what's going on in the world and why a lot of the things they want to go to are no longer available for the time being are things like, all people have to stay inside for the time being because there's a really bad bug going around making people sick. We have to stay inside for a while until this bad bug goes away so that we can all stay healthy. We have to do our part to help keep people safe. By staying inside, people will get better faster. Places are closed right now so everyone can get healthy. Find short, simple ways to explain what's going on. If your loved one really starts to get anxious and upset about what's going on and scared about the situation, you can try some sentences like this. It's going to be okay. We just need to do our part to help. Are you okay with doing your part to help? Things will clear up. We just have to hunker down for a little while. Things will go back to normal, and the more we all stay indoors right now, the sooner we'll go back to normal. If your loved one, despite some of those explanations, gets really agitated and upset that they still can't go outside, because after all, they want to go outside, they don't care what's going on. Some approaches you can take here, and the big approach is focusing on the emotion underneath their words. So for example, you can say things like, I wish we could go out to the restaurant too. Maybe we should do that first thing when things get back to normal. I miss going to the store too. We have fun when we go out. I wish things were different too. Notice how all of these responses are just short and simple and sweet, and feel free to use them and change them in whatever way you feel like your loved one would be able to hear better or receive better or understand better. And then finally, most importantly, you've done your short explanation, you've made it as simple as possible, but we're still left with the problem of your loved one wants to leave the home. Your loved one still wants to do an activity. So what do we do to help redirect that energy, right? Because you can do the best explanations in the world and your loved one still has something they want to do that they can't do. So what do we do here? This is where we get into the redirect and engage stage. So here you want to look for a window of opportunity in the conversation where you can redirect the conversation and then get them engaged in an activity. And again, you want to keep things as short and sweet. So let's say, for example, your loved one is really insisting on wanting to go out to eat. Some examples you could say to them in this moment, trying to practice the redirect and engage kind of philosophy, would be things like, I wish we could go out to eat too. What would you order to eat? Oh, a hamburger and fries, that sounds good. I'm really craving a tuna fish sandwich and salad. Oh, you know what? With all this talk of food, it's making me hungry. Let's make a snack. And then from there, you move over to the kitchen and you start preparing a snack together. You might ask your loved one to help you take out some plates or to stir something or to put out some napkins, whatever their level of ability, but you want to include your loved one in the activity. But you just went from a conversation of them wanting to leave, you looked for that window of opportunity in the conversation to redirect, and then you engaged them in a new activity. So this really reminds me of a really great tip. So also yesterday, Friday, so I'm recording this on Saturday. Yesterday, I did a live Q&A inside of my care course. So inside of my care course, which is only offered a couple times a year, I go in there weekly, live, and I answer Careblazers questions to try to help them through difficult situations. And we were talking yesterday, of course, about this challenge of how to care for your loved one during this pandemic and not having the support systems you usually have in place and loved ones kind of being cooped up. And this Careblazer said, she shared this tip with the group, and I want to share it with all of you. She said, redirection has been a lifesaver for me, but it seemed like it was an all-day thing and exhausting. So I found I can redirect both parents when I do my hobbies. Involve them as much as they can, like yard work, those 5-minute DIY crafts that are easy. They enjoy watching me. I get mom to cut out a picture or get dad to hold the hammer, and they feel like they are participating. That is amazing. That's an amazing example, Careblazer. And this particular Careblazer is caring for both her mom and dad in her home, and both of them have dementia. So I just thought this was a wonderful opportunity, and I would encourage all of you to think about what are the things you have to do during the day you're going about the house doing, and how can you incorporate your loved ones into that activity. If you're struggling with what kind of activities to do with your loved one, in addition to just including them in what you're doing on a daily practice, below this video, I put a link to a free handout that I completed on a bunch of free activity ideas that you and your loved one can do together. Careblazer, if your loved one has already been asking to leave the house or already asking to go places, then you know that this is a situation that's going to happen again. Don't really know when this pandemic is going to end, but it seems like it's going to be here for a little while. And so the chances of you having to respond to your loved one in this situation is pretty high, right? You're probably going to have to respond to them again in this situation. So my encouragement for you is to prepare. Think about what sentences you can use. Think about how you can respond. Have that activity in your mind that you're going to try to redirect them to if possible, right? So just plan a little bit and prepare yourself so that you feel more confident and able to do this when it's needed. I really hope this has been helpful for you. And so for those of you who want to access my free mini course on managing caregiver stress, it's just 3 videos, but it's jam-packed with some ways that you can lower your caregiver stress and difficult behaviors. There is a link below this video. It's called Manage Caregiver Stress Mini Series. That link automatically applies my 100% off coupon code. So if you click the link, it'll take you directly to the checkout page, and you should see that the original $97 price point is $0. That coupon code expires April 1st. Once you access it, you have the course forever. It doesn't go away, but you do need to access. You need to click the link and complete the purchase before April 1st for that 100% coupon code to go into effect. Also, I have a limited supply of these Careblazer Strong mugs. I don't really know if you can see them. I'll post a link below this video. Careblazer Strong. And it's on the front and back. It's a little yellow on the inside. I am putting them up for sale. I only have a limited supply. I can only ship in the US. They're $25, and that includes the shipping cost. If you want to grab your hand on one, you can click the link below this video. And I'm just writing some notes to everybody who orders one, and I'd love to put one in the mail for you. All right, Careblazer, keep up the good work. I'll be back next week. If you have a question or something you're really struggling with through this pandemic, please leave a comment below this video. I'll do my best to make my upcoming videos more pertinent for this time that we're facing. Okay?